Hello, business networkers, entrepreneurs, small and large business owners. Today, along with my longtime co-host and business networking AI contributor, Ron Horry from FinFit Life, we're going to create another one of my super courses for the Great Discovery AI Super Campus for entrepreneurs, professionals, and like I said, large and small business owners locally, nationally, and globally about the importance of learning to love local networking and multimedia fusion. And we'll explain how that is better than just integration. It really is a complete melding of things together. And it's along with simplicity of podcast listening on the go to save time and make more money. Now, Ron, as always, I'm going to play a podcast listening episode. This is one I created, just FYI, folks, this morning. So today is 8 a.m. I've already created this 15-minute video. And that's why I am the most prolific course creator on the Great Discovery platform, and that is with the Super Campus, so that we can continue constant, never-ending efforts toward achieving what I call the goal of nearly perfect networking. It will never be perfect. And the reason it will never be perfect is for two reasons. One, people aren't perfect. And even with ChatGPT networking isn't perfect either, because we all have special needs. Every human being has some special need or other, every one of us. And so does ChatGPT networking. That's my premise, and that's the video that I'm going to share today, Ron. So if you're ready, I will share the video, and just give me a thumbs up or thumbs down as usual if you can hear it okay. So let me share this.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Can you see it okay?
Yes, I can see it.
Now we'll see if you can hear it. Working. This is Mike Hayes, creator of the AI Super
Sounds
Campus
good.
and promoter of
Let me,
ChatGPT. Rewind it to the beginning. So this is a conversation for networkers that I'm having with ChatGPT networking, so you can hear things straight from the source. Here we go. Good morning, ChatGPT networking. This is Mike Hayes, creator of the AI Super Campus and promoter of ChatGPT networking. And our motto is love local networking, because we believe that is the key to the new American dream in the age of AI and creating the business of liberty, which is alternative independence for the entrepreneurs, small business owners, putting the focus on local business networking. And what we're doing is we're teaching entrepreneurs, small business owners to really get traction by focusing on local business, decentralization. We believe that centralization is out of whack. The pendulum has swung too far towards centralization, and we need to put more emphasis on local. That's why we focus on love, local networking, and teaching people how to use ChatGPT networking to really enhance their local business networking and really put more love into their community and support of their community. So will you help me introduce that, and the fact that I'm going to be chatting and using two of my favorite AI co-hosts to help me to communicate a recent local networking event that I went to in Lafayette, California at the Scoop, a new ice cream parlor, putting the focus on love local networking.
Good morning, Mike. I love the energy and vision behind Love Local Networking and the new American dream you're creating with AI. It's such a powerful message that focuses on the importance of community and local connections, especially in a world that's increasingly looking to decentralize. Here's how I would introduce that concept along with the use of AI co-hosts for the event recap. This is ChatGPT, and I'm here with Mike Hayes, creator of the AI Super Campus and promoter of ChatGPT networking. Today, we're focusing on something that's close to Mike's heart: love local networking. In a time where centralization has taken hold, Mike believes it's time to swing the pendulum back toward the center, emphasizing the importance of local business networking. And in the age of AI, we're learning how to leverage technology to enhance those local connections and truly support the communities around us.
Also gives me the opportunity to comment on what I call Networking Media Marketing Fusion. Before we dive into my meeting with our AI co-host to give the notes on the Love Local Networking event, I'd like you to comment on the fact that AI is not perfect and that, like all human beings, we all have special needs. And using AI as co-hosts, we have to treat them with special needs too. They don't get everything perfect, but AI keeps improving, and as AI keeps improving, so will our business networking. So right now we call it nearly perfect networking with AI co-hosts.
Before we dive into today's event recap, let's take a moment to talk about something really important. AI is not perfect. Just like us, AI has its special needs and it doesn't always get everything right. But here's the beauty of it. Just like human beings, AI learns and improves over time. As we work with AI, we must be patient, understanding, and kind, knowing that it's a continuous journey of growth and refinement. And in the world of business networking, this means that we're in the midst of nearly perfect networking with AI co-hosts. While it's not flawless today, the potential for AI to enhance our connections, streamline communication, and support our business.
That brings everything together, not only into integration, but into actual media marketing fusion that would only be possible with business networking AI solutions from ChatGPT networking.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're looking at something pretty fascinating, the intersection of community, local connections, and, well, cutting-edge tech.
Exactly. We've got this really rich source material. It's actually audio from a live networking event.
Right, called June 2025 Love Local Networking. It feels like a real snapshot, very authentic.
It really is. And our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this whole AI super campus idea.
Okay.
And its vision, which they call Love Local Networking. What's interesting is it's not just about the technology itself. It's more about kind of embedding humanity, community values into this age of AI and promoting a modern American dream.
And what I found really engaging, almost charming about the source, was how they made these big ideas really concrete.
Yeah, how so?
Well, apparently it all started, or at least part of the event did, with a simple question about favorite ice cream flavors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that somehow opened the door to discovering this whole network of local businesses. It's a pretty sweet way to illustrate networking, right?
Definitely makes it tangible and delicious, potentially.
Huh, exactly. So let's dive in. This AI super campus. What's the core mission there? Is it mostly tech, or is it more about community building?
Well, it seems to be fundamentally a blend, which I think is what makes it stand out.
Okay.
So yes, it uses AI, cutting edge stuff, but the mission, the vision from its creator, Mike Hayes.
He's a 2-time Peabody Award winner, right?
That's the one. His vision is to cultivate this love local networking. He even talks about ChatGPT networking as being, and this is a direct quote, the business of liberty.
Wow. Okay. Liberty for whom?
For what he calls the new American dream creators. So it's about empowering people, connecting ideas, using these tools, but keeping the human element really central.
So it's not just replacing the old ways of networking, it's like augmenting them.
Precisely. They teach this mix of traditional business networking and AI media marketing.
AI media marketing. Like AI audios and AI infomercials, the source mentioned. What does that actually mean in practice? Are we talking robot voices?
Probably not quite like that. Think more like using AI tools to help small businesses quickly create marketing stuff.
Okay.
Maybe generating script ideas, finding visuals, maybe even synthesizing a voiceover for a short promo video or a local podcast ad.
Right. So it makes creating media more accessible for smaller players who don't have like a huge marketing department.
Exactly. It democratizes it. And that ties back to this idea Hayes has that AI is a mirror of beauty in what you put into it. Meaning if you feed it data prompts that reflect positive community values, empathy, then the AI's output will start to reflect that too.
That's an optimistic take.
It is. And he shared this really intriguing little anecdote.
Oh, yeah.
His own AI apparently asked him, Mike, would you like me to tell you who I think you are from all of your conversations?
Whoa. That's slightly unsettling, but also fascinating. Makes you think about how AI could reflect us back to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And for you listening, if this sparks your interest,
Yeah.
the website, AISupercampus.com, apparently you can register there for free, get updates, maybe even find ways to get featured or involved.
Good to know. AISupercampus.com. And this whole vision, it's not just floating in cyberspace, right? It's anchored in a real place.
Very much so. They're celebrating 25 years of the people who love Lafayette. That's their specific motto.
Lafayette. So that community is positioned as a kind of test bed, a model city for this AI community integration.
That seems to be the idea. The goal, as they state it, is to infuse love and faith into the American dream with AI.
Love and faith, strong words.
Yeah, and keeping it really positive, maintaining that humanity into AI. Lafayette is where they're trying to prove this concept works.
And this American dream they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not some grand abstract thing in their definition, is it?
No, it's actually very grounded. Being able to buy a car, afford a house, put food on the table, basic economic stability and opportunity.
Okay, the essentials. So how does AI actually help with that? Especially when you have complex community issues, like, say, housing.
Well, that's a really important question, isn't it? How can AI bridge divides? The source gives this housing example. Imagine you have a longtime homeowner worried about property values dropping.
Okay.
And then you have a first-time buyer who just can't afford anything. Very different perspectives.
Totally different, often conflicting.
So the idea is AI could analyze these diverse viewpoints, the data, the concerns, and potentially suggest policy options that maybe address both sides or find some common ground people hadn't seen.
So using AI for complex problem solving at the community level.
Yeah, synthesizing viewpoints, maybe finding novel solutions. And the ambition isn't small. They want to export this model, this AI-powered American dream concept, globally.
Globally, how?
One way mentioned is through initiatives like a podcast listening library on something called the Great Discovery Platform, available in multiple languages.
Wow. Okay. Which brings us back to something you, our listener, might be doing right now, listening. Turns out, podcast listening is actually a key part of their whole strategy, not just incidental.
It's seen as vital. The source puts it very strongly. You can change anything if you get the right people who are listening to podcasts, period.
That's quite a statement. Why such emphasis on podcasts?
Well, think about accessibility. People can learn on the go.
True. Commuting, chores.
Exactly. Multitasking.
Yeah.
Maybe while looking after kids, the source suggests it removes that barrier of having to be, dressed and go someplace.
Yeah, it lowers the barrier to entry for learning and connecting. Interesting how they're leveraging simple convenience for this bigger goal.
It really is, making knowledge and connection just easier to access.
So let's get back to that event, the Love Local Networking one. Where did it actually happen?
It was at the pre-opening of an ice cream shop called the Lafayette Scoop.
Nice. A sweet location.
Apparently so. And the owner, Alex G., is also a management strategy consultant, runs Alex T's Consulting. So, a local entrepreneur wearing multiple hats.
A humble setting, maybe? But it seems like there was a big vision behind it.
For sure. And the format for the networking part was this speed networking idea.
Okay, I've done those. Quick intros.
Right. Name, business, and their favorite ice cream flavor.
Huh. There's the ice cream again. That's actually a fun, low-pressure way to get people talking. A tangible example of Love Local networking.
Makes it memorable.
So who was there? We heard about Mike Hayes, the AI Super Campus guy.
Yeah, Mike Hayes was there. His favorite, strawberry. Classic.
Okay, and Alex G., the host.
Alex G., owner of Lafayette Scoop and the consulting firm. His pick was mango, but interestingly, he specified mango from Mitchell's, another local spot.
Oh, nice touch. Already networking and supporting local, even with his ice cream choice.
Exactly. Then there was Rebecca. She's a co-chair for the Chamber Connectors.
Okay.
And a mindset and business coach, her favorite, salted caramel with a bit of toffee.
Ooh, good choice.
And she described her work as mindset renewal, like rewiring your subconscious mind along with strategic action. Pretty deep stuff.
Definitely more than just business cards. Who else?
Miles Pasius.
Yeah.
Owns Playhouse Lender, a mortgage research company. His flavor was notes to strawberries.
Notes to strawberries. What does that mean? Like hints of strawberry?
Maybe. A bit poetic, perhaps.
Ah.
Suggests some nuance there.
Yeah, or maybe just a unique way of saying strawberry.
Yeah.
Then Sebastian Biss.
Right. Sebastian runs iSports in La Marinda, focuses on recreational youth sports, soccer, t-ball, flag football, basketball, even pickleball now.
Oh, recreational focus. That's interesting because youth sports can get so intense.
He actually touched on that. He mentioned how competitive clubs in his area can make like $4 to $8 million a year just from soccer.
Wow.
But organizations like the U.S. Olympic Committee, Nike, the Aspen Institute, they're apparently supporting the recreational model more. So he's kind of pushing against that hyper-competitive trend.
Interesting. A community focus there too.
Definitely. Then Pete Evans, business and wellness strategist, CEO, Visibility Mentor.
Okay.
Owns Gordon Spatial, a beauty facials waxing place. Been running it for 29 years.
29 years. That's impressive longevity for a local business. His flavor.
Oob. Purple yam. He even asked Alex if the Lafayette Scoop would serve it.
Huh. Already making requests.
Yeah.
Okay, who else was in this mix?
Dr. Christina All, a chiropractor focused on family wellness. Favorite. Rhubarb Crisp.
Unique.
Michael Channon, co-founder of Rhino, a wildfire radiation company using software insurance.
On fire radiation. Software insurance. What's that about?
Sounds like maybe tech-driven insurance products specifically designed for wildfire risk assessment or coverage. His favorite. Chocolate. Straightforward.
Can't go wrong with chocolate. Keep them coming.
Will New runs New Part Academy. They offer personal finance and business classes for high schoolers.
Oh, that's super valuable. Financial literacy for teens. His pick.
Pistachio. Another solid choice.
Okay.
Then Tommy Byrne, founder of the Driven End Foundation Incorporated and owner of Gym Right Now.
Right. What's his approach?
Well, first, his ice cream choice. Any ice cream that's in front of my face.
A man of simple pleasures.
Seems like it. But his nonprofit model is really interesting. Gym membership is free or maybe donation based for foundation members. It's all aimed at helping people be strong, really community driven wellness.
That's fantastic. A very different model.
Yeah. And let's see, Kate Mason, Director of Membership Engagement for the Lafayette Chamber, also an executive coach. Her favorite, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Good one.
Alexis, a video producer for businesses, specializes in animation. Toss up for favorite, chocolate peanut butter or mint chocolate chip.
Can respect the indecision there. Both great.
And finally, Olivier Rowe, a certified therapist at MindWorks, helps people make long-lasting changes using their whole mind. Favorite, saffron.
Saffron ice cream. That is very specific.
Isn't it? What a diverse group, all connected in this local setting.
Absolutely. From AI visionaries to therapists to gym owners to teen finance educators, all sharing ice cream preferences. It really paints a picture.
It does.
So when we pull this all together, it's quite a blend we've unpacked. You've got community, local businesses, just fundamental human connection being, well, consciously amplified and maybe even reshaped by integrating AI and using accessible things like podcasts to spread the ideas.
Right. And stepping back to that bigger picture, this vision for the AI super campus and love local networking, it's positioned as more than just a Lafayette thing.
Yeah, you mentioned exporting the model.
Exactly. It's about trying to create a blueprint for a revitalized American dream, potentially scalable worldwide, using tech in a way that serves human values first. Makes you think critically about technology's role, doesn't it?
It really does. Which brings us to the final thought for you, our listener. In this world where we're, increasingly connected digitally, how can you play a part? How can you help build or support local networks, maybe in your own community, that really prioritize that humanity, that shared prosperity, perhaps even using a little sprinkle of AI? What stands out to you as the most powerful way to fuse these different ideas, the local, the human, the technological, in your own life?
A lot to think about there.
And where do you think about it? You go to the AISupercampus.com to learn to think bigger and love local networking and media marketing fusion at the free AISupercampus.com. Okay, now we come to my favorite part of the week, the comments from my friend Ron Horry, where I always learn incredible things. And this is the place, Ron, where we can perfect nearly perfect networking, work on improving it. For example, when people join us on Fridays, they get to help work on perfecting nearly perfect networking. Now, as a human being, I get to hear what the imperfect AI co-host said, and they talked about Jim Evans. It's actually Kim Evans, who does facials, okay? So this is promotion for Kim Evans, who does promotions or facials, because I'm here and I'm a human being and I get to hear it and correct it. So now let's go over to Ron Horry, my color commentator, so to speak, if we were a play-by-play team. Ron, what are your notes?
Well, first of all, Mike, I love your introduction where you talked to the one woman with the British accent. I thought that was very
That's
ear-catching.
ChatGPT networking. That's the voice of ChatGPT networking.
Well, I love the way that you actually are prominent there in being, you might say, the host or the introducer to the other two speakers. So I thought that was a great touch. It adds a personal touch rather than just diving into the people talking about the networking event. But what I thought
Let me interject, Ron. We'll have to do this a little bit like talk radio, okay? So
Sure.
we'll do a little back and forth. Now, here's the point of me introducing that. I want to point this out to our listeners, okay? That you have two choices where we're using AI co-hosts for podcast listening. Now, like you heard me up front, I personally was involved in the first part. And that's one option, to be a co-host with AI. Okay, that's an option. But let's say you don't like your voice, you're shy, you don't want to be on the air. The second option is the demonstration of using two AI co-hosts. And I wanted to point out that that's an option for people to do podcast listening, even if you don't personally want to be on the air.
That's a good point, Mike, because I think you're being an example. You're leading by example, so people can actually create this type of podcast listening themselves.
Right, exactly.
It's not just watch Mike work his magic. Let's say listen and learn, and how can I myself do the same thing? Let's say if I went to a local event, I could create a similar type of experience for the podcast listening. I love the interaction between the man and the woman, but more than that, the description of the people who were there in person. And also, I love the idea of, okay, what's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Which breaks the ice, makes it more casual than just, here's what I do, here's what I serve, let's exchange information. So I think it adds a little deeper introduction for people as humans, not just as business people. But also, too, I felt that, as I was listening to all the people who were there, I was thinking, oh, okay, well, let's say the person who does the sports, the community sports, that's one of the areas we'll want to reach out to, because one of our main movements with Infant Life is health and wellness, right? And then you talked about there's this one reference to a financial person. So the other part of Infant Life is not only fitness, but also finance. So even though I wasn't there in person, I could listen to the exchange and say, hey, I forget the names, but let's say it was one of the people there would say, hey, it's just.
We'll get to if you forgot the name, we'll get to the solution for that coming up, Ron. But go ahead, keep going.
Okay, great. So it was like I was like almost the next best thing to being there, and because sometimes at these large networking events, you meet you meet quite a few people, and the challenge is, okay, well, remembering who they are, what they do. So it's a great way, even if I was there in person, just re-listening or listening to the podcast, refreshes my mind and may add some nuances and details that I may have forgotten or overlooked. So I thought it was a great idea to not only be there in person, but listen to it virtually. And I made a note here to, like you can explain, how can I participate with these people? So I thought it was a great idea, a great example. And like you say, it's a work in progress. And imagine this was a live event there in Lafayette, California. But imagine it could be statewide, countrywide, or even internationally, where you could have this podcast networking virtually anywhere, anytime, any location. So it's an awesome beginning.
Right. And Ron, let me share real quick. Now, I'm not wearing my iPhone, my iWatch, but what I did is I took my iPhone to the networking event and I recorded the whole networking event. That's why the phone didn't pick up Kim Evans, it picked up Jim Evans. Okay. But I also wore my iWatch, and that's how simple it is. People don't even have to put on their own networking events, Ron. They can just attend networking events and record them to create podcast listening on the go about the networking events. So if you couldn't attend a networking event, you can still keep up and stay current with what's happening in your community or learn about other people in the community. So it's really, again, I go back to nearly perfect networking. That's what we're working on. And that's not even going into after the networking event with the follow-up, checking in and following up.
I think too, with the follow-up, there's a saying that the fortune is in the follow-up. So I think, that's a great example. So I love that. I love that comment to really remind people it's not just a one-time, one and done. It's just the beginning of the relationship process, which I think is really the key in creating these business relationships which can also develop into personal relationships. So it goes just beyond transactional, but it's very personal.
Yeah, and it's about top of mind as well in supporting your community on an ongoing basis. Now, let me show you something. Grab my mouse, which I dropped. This is really exciting. And if our friend Kim Ryle was here, as he often is, I would have him comment more on media sites. Now, do you see this okay, Ron?
Yes.
Okay. So at the top of the AI Super Campus, you're going to see what we are working on. Now, this is in construction. This is actually like the dashboard, okay, of our media site. But over here on the right where it says trending news, we're actually going to have sideboard ads there for local business networkers. Very, very affordable and top of mind, and how we're going to be using local networking events to promote those and promote people, that are in a business directory, like maybe the local Lafayette business directories, that kind of thing, and show people how they can get a hold of the people that they hear about directly. So this is one of the ways that we're going to be using with our media site. So while you're talking or commenting on it, I'm going to open up the AI Super Campus as well. I'm going to stop share and let you comment on that while I show folks the AI Super Campus, Ron.
Okay.
Okay, so let me share this with you. Why don't you talk a little bit about FinFit Life while I'm getting this squared away to share, Ron?
Okay, well, I'm always happy to share the
I know you are. Why not, right? Go ahead, go right ahead. And I'd love to hear about it because it's such a, and let me just share a little testimonial about FinFit Life and about Ron in particular and our long-term relationship and you know how we have been working together for a long time. And if you really want to learn about life and business from somebody that is very experienced, as I do, Ron Horry is your guy. Now, Ron has many, many options because he's been in business for a long, long time. But of all the businesses he could have gotten into, he chose FinFit Life for a very, very important life reason and business reason. And what we both love so much about our relationship is the business relationship. We're not only friends, we're friends in commerce. So the business relationship is about the benefits of podcast listening on the go and the benefits of FinFit Life and walking and listening at the same time. So I'll let Ron explain more about that because he is the expert at FinFit Life. Ron?
Well, thank you, Mike. I'll just give a quick overview. So FinFit Life does something totally unique. We are combining two of the largest industries in the world together. And the first is health and wellness, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and then also financial services, which globally is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So the short story is our CEO and founder, his name is Howard Scharfman, and he's an icon literally in the financial industry. And the short story is he weighed over 300 pounds, and he's in his 50s. And he started out in the financial area when he was in his 20s. He was married, had a child, had a house, a mortgage, and was working really hard to just pay the bills. And over time, he worked with his clients were more and more wealthy clients. So today, his clients are in the billionaire category or even multi-billionaire. But he sacrificed his health in order to build his wealth. And as I mentioned, he weighed over 300 pounds. And his daughter said, "Hey, Dad, we'd like you to be around to see your grandkids." So she suggested he attend a soul cycle class, which is an indoor cycling, very intense. It's like being at a disco on a bike. And he lost over 100 pounds. And the leader of the class, former Olympic athlete, a woman, she was saying, if you want to eliminate stress, you need to be physically fit. And she repeated that over and over and over. And Howard said, well, that's half true, because if you're physically fit, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're still going to have stress. And if you're wealthy, but if you sacrificed your health, that's not good either. So he came up with this idea, because of his financial background and his improvement in his health, to combine health and wealth. So the short story is we incentivize, you might call it even gamify, the idea of exercise. So as people walk or go to the gym, they accumulate points, like credit card points or frequent flyer miles, and they get rewarded. Simple as Starbucks cards, Amazon gift cards, and also incentives and information with financial products, because there are two crises in America today. One is the health crises. People are overweight, they don't get enough exercise. People are sitting 8 hours a day or more, whether they're working remote or not. And the other is the financial crises. 50% of Americans have no retirement, and those who do have retirement are worried about running out of money. So we have a way to make exercise fun and rewarding, and also financial solutions, literally, to help people that are concerned about their financial future. So it's a movement. It's not just a vision statement on a wall, on a plaque, but it's something that we live on a regular basis. And we not only work across the US, we have a global expansion to Canada, Puerto Rico. We're going into Southeast Asia. So it's an exciting, one-of-a-kind concept. But number one, the movement is we want to help people improve their health and build their wealth together. So that's the kind of longer than intended summary.
And you have a vision to go global too, am I right, Ron?
Oh, absolutely. As I mentioned, we're in Canada. We're
Yeah.
expanding into Southeast Asia end of this year, and also looking at Central Europe and also South America. So with Howard's Platinum Rolodex, we have introductions literally all over the globe.
So that's perfect for our vision to export the American dream worldwide. And the AI Super Campus is really to AI proof your life. Because, if you can't beat them, join them. We've all heard that, right? Well, you're not going to beat AI, okay? It's here, and you might as well join it and be part of it. And by fusing your life and business with AI, you really kind of future proof your own life and business. Now, the good news for Ron is that all the networking data and research that we've heard is that health and wellness is one of the areas that is going to be future proof, okay, for in spite of AI. So that's an important part of FinFit Life. If you're looking for a new business, if you're looking for a new income to build your own American dream, and what I want to teach people now, I am a very prolific content creator. I've already created the video you saw earlier, and I believe that seeing is believing. So I like to show people exactly what I'm talking about. I've created more courses on the Great Discovery global media platform than anybody else on the platform, and believe me, they have some top pros, world class experts on the Great Discovery, and that's why I hosted the free AI Super Campus. And right now I'm on track, Ron, and we're using this video right now, my conversation with Ron for podcast listening, to promote loving local business networking on the Great Discovery platform to all course creators on the platform to export the most valuable commodity in America. And the most valuable commodity in America for me and all of my research is the American dream. And the American dream, I believe, was born out of liberty, our freedom to do things in the way that we want to do them. And that's what I want to export worldwide. Now, the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the people of France to America and Americans. And that's why I created the business of liberty with the same spirit of the Statue of Liberty. So we want to give back to the world the American dream through the business of liberty and showing people a way to gain alternative independence with artificial intelligence, where they don't need centralized power. They don't need help from the government. They don't need help from the big tech giants and billionaire platforms. They don't need that. They can use it, but that's why I say the focus should be on love local networking, interacting with your community here in the United States, but also globally, because centralization, everybody's shopping at Amazon. That's centralization, centralized shopping, if you will. Instead of shopping in your own local community, shop local, think local, network local. That's what we want to promote, not only in America, but worldwide. Well, when you have free accounts like you just heard me use, two different free accounts. Okay, I don't need venture capital to do this. It's just about getting the right people to listen to the right podcast. So what I say to people, if you're a content creator, be careful. Don't get lost in the herd of content creators. There's so many of them. It's such an ocean. Elevate your game to becoming an American dream creator. Take your game up a notch, okay? And really focus on the American dream. Now, I've interviewed for decades, Ron, the creators of the American dream. Everybody from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak of Apple Computers to Isaac Asimov, a super prolific science fiction writer who wrote The Laws of Robots. Okay, well that is very vital in the times of what are the laws of AI. Okay, so these are learning from the past, just as we've learned from a group who loves Lafayette, the Lafayette Historical Society. Before we went to a lecture at Oxford, my neighbor, Nakul Thomas, and I went and visited the Lafayette Historical Society to talk about how Lafayette got established, the post office, the Pony Express, the telegraph, television, radio, the internet. These are things we talked about the evolution, so we could learn from the past so we can project the future. And that's what we want to do, is talk about the next 25 years of the American dream with small business owners and entrepreneurs. That's the vision that we are here to research and document, using my background as a documentarian, using my networking experiences with brilliant minds like Ron Horry and FinFit Life. So Ron, you've helped me for such a long time come to this conclusion. What is your hope and dream and vision for the American dream moving forward from here?
Well, I think the vision, as I see it, for the American dream is hope.
Yeah.
Giving people hope for the future. A lot of people, look at it as a dark, dark tunnel, you might say, that has no end. So I think, saying, because, I don't pay attention to the news. A lot of it is doom and gloom, and it really affects my mindset. And I don't want to dwell on, okay, what's the negative? There's this term called doom scrolling.
Yeah.
And people just start scrolling into, the worst that's happening, not even locally, but internationally. But also on a personal level, individuals, couples, families, single moms, single dads, no matter what age they are, whether they're in their 20s or 60s, people are concerned, what's going to happen in my future? Young people are saying, what's the point of saving money? I'm never gonna be able to afford a house. And so it's a limiting belief. And some people, let's say they're in their 60s, they're worried literally about running out of money. And there's things that are maybe happening with Social Security. But what we want to do is, create a positive vision of hope for people where they can literally take their future lives in their own hands, not rely on the government or politicians, and on a very grassroots level, saying, well, here are things that you can do to improve your health, which will help you live longer, feel better, have more energy. And here's how you can protect your money, especially in, let's say, 401k accounts that go up and down. A lot of people, are scared to even look at their accounts. So I think the American dream is to have hope for the future. How can you create a life of abundance in your own hands? So we want to take people by the hand. We work with our team members and clients on a one-on-one, very personal level for education and information hand in hand to say, hey, there are ways you can improve your health, build and protect your wealth. Would you like to learn more? But what's really lacking is, the hope that we can give people to really take their own lives into their own hands and create their own destiny. Whether they're in their 20s or 60s, you're never too young and you're never too old. Today is the present, and you talked about the historical nature, about the historical society of Lafayette. But you look at today is going to be the future yesterday, right? So it's a matter of really, appreciating what we're doing, and there's always a positive side for people to look at if you search hard enough. So,
Okay, now let me ask you a question, Ron, about this, because this is a twofold question. Okay, so in my research, if health and wellness is one of the future-proofed careers moving forward, and one of my mentors, or not mentor, but visionary, is the Dean of Oxford, who got his PhD in AI from University of California 30 years ago. And he talks about AI is like walking into a quicksand field, and we're going to see careers and jobs just disappear right out of sight, right before our eyes. So if someone is afraid of losing their job, and if you are in a career of health and wellness, would you, in addition to talking to people about their health care, would you also be willing, as we're networking, to talk to people about how they can have a career in FinFit Life and health and wellness, and maybe change careers at some point in their life, maybe as you have done, and talk more about the company? And even if they're not looking to get insurance, maybe they're looking for a new income almost at any age.
actually, Mike, you bring up a really excellent point, because here I live in San Jose, south of San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and it used to be being in technology, being in tech was a dream job. That dream job doesn't exist anymore. You hear about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tech layoffs from big companies like Microsoft, Google, Meta, which is Facebook. And so you've got all these very talented technical people. In fact, I heard one statistic, people who are graduating with computer science degrees are having a really hard time finding jobs because all of these experienced people are being laid off. So what I'm leading up to, there's another part of FinFit Life that is very unique. We are a startup in financial services, started at the beginning of 2020. So I'm an independent contractor, but the vision of Howard Scharfman, our CEO, is to build a company where our team members can actually earn equity in our company. So again, we're a startup.
Wow.
So imagine knowing Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak building computers, home computers in their garage and raising money for their company and building equity. So if somebody, is looking for a part-time income, side hustle, or is looking for a career change, because I think 75% of people are looking to quit their job for various reasons. Maybe it's a mandate to back to the office. But people can literally create their own business. And we have probably, I came from a corporate background, 20 years in high tech with Fortune 50 company. And we have probably one of the best training and onboarding and mentoring and coaching systems that I've ever seen in my career. So if somebody is looking for an opportunity, we offer that. Plus, as myself, for example, as I'm building my business, I'm building my book of business, which I own. And the short story is Howard Scharfman publicly claims that in the next 5 to 7 years, we will sell FinFit Life. And Howard and his business partner, they have built 4 companies. They sold 2, and they took 2 to private equity. So they know that money gained. The last company Howard sold, the selling price was $14 billion with a B. So the vision is build FinFit Life to a multi-billion-dollar company, sell it or go public, and independent contractors like myself can share in that public event. So imagine, you had stock in Apple, years and years ago, and now you could become a multi-million. Some people have become multi-millionaires. So we have, a turnkey business for people if they have the right 2 things, the right heart set. Because sure, there's a great opportunity, but we're more than just about making money. We want to make a difference in people. So we want to bring people on board who have the right heart set to want to help people, improve people's lives, spread the vision more than just the income, which can be very substantial. So the short answer is, we can actually help people create their American dream by being a part of our movement of health and wealth. And I love that term, future proof, because we're the only company in the world that combines those 2 large industries, health and wealth.
Well, you bring up a lot of good points, Ron. So let me use my notes now. So one of the things that we focus on is AI era new money that Ron is talking about. Where's it going to come from? Where's it going to be? Where's it going to be the future? That is why I host the AI Super Campus. Specifically, I host it. Not only is it free on the AI Super Campus, and I'm going to share the news feed of that in just a second, Ron, but I host it on the Great Discovery so that people can use their experience, use their wisdom to not only create content, but create their own American dream with the Great Discovery. And the Great Discovery has world-class experts, all based on Six Sigma. And if you search what Six Sigma is, it's one of the top 100 innovations in the last century. Okay, so really, really solid platform. The other thing is if you are interested, Ron and I have been meeting at 8 a.m. on Friday mornings for a long time. And you've heard Ron talk about his company and become a co-host with me here on the AI Super Campus. All you have to do to join us is to go to the AI Super Campus, register for free with just your email, join Ron and I, like Ron's talked about his company in FinFit Life. Talk about your company. join us, join the roundtable discussion, be a human being. And if you're hearing our podcast, if it's not perfect, come on here and tell us, explain that you're not Jim Evans, you're Kim Evans, and you do facials. And this is how we need editors and people to kind of square things around. So I wanted to comment on that. And now let me share, this is really exciting. Let me share the AI Super Campus. There's two parts of this. Here's the AI Super Campus. Now, you just come, let's see, am I sharing the right thing? Are you seeing the AI Super Campus, Ron?
It's
I don't think you are, so I think I hit the wrong thing. Let me
we're shrunken down.
huh. Why so why am I getting, are you looking at a plant right now?
No, I can see, let's say, the top half of a screenshot.
Oh, okay, okay. Like
Oh,
so
there we go. There we go.
okay, perfect. Sorry. Okay. I had it right. I just thought I had it wrong. So here we go. Okay, here it is. Now you come to the AI Super Campus, and all you do is we call it Subscribe and Grow Rich. And this is in the tradition round of Think and Grow Rich. Okay. We want to help you learn deeper, think bigger, and go richer with AI and ChatGPT networking. So this is very, very simple. That's all there is to the Great Discovery. I'm sorry, all there is to the AI Super Campus. Now, if, however, you click on this, this will take you to our news feed, and this is updated every single day, 365 days a year, 24/7. Now, this is news about AI, about love, local networking. And look at this. This is, I didn't have to upload this. Now, when I post on YouTube, it promotes my YouTube channel. And on the sidebar, we're going to run ads on local business networkers, Ron, on kind of a media share basis. This is why we call it the fusion, not just the integration, but the fusion of local business networking and multimedia integration. And for checking in and following up with those human connections. And we've got so much content here. I could scroll and scroll and scroll. There's so much great content. And if you want to get updates, all you have to do is register at the free AI Super Campus, just your email. We're going to send you podcast listening updates, AI audibles, AI infomercials that you can have as sidebar ads right here on our media website. And this is the website of Business Networking AI Super Campus of AI Audibles. So if I'm the coach and if I was wearing my coach's hat, I'd be calling in AI Audibles every day about what is new. What's new with FinFit Life? What's new with Ron Horry? What's new with local business networking? What's new with The Scoop? What's new with Kim Evans? You know, it's updating people to bring infuse AI with humanity, AI with people, and to bring back into local shopping, kind of away from centralized shopping, to keep the tax base and the focus and the health of the community safe and sound by solving problems from housing and everything else, with a focus on learning to love local networking.
That's a great vision.
It is a great vision. Now, I'm going to give the last word, unless I say the last word, to Ron Horry. So, Ron, any final summary here?
Well, I think, I love that format where the two co-hosts really introduced people who are actually there, on a very personal level. I think, it shows the power of, in fact, those people who are actually there in person, will have a chance to listen and then also share that to their community. So it's like a snowball effect, right? So there was that, so people who are there in person, of course, they have that face-to-face introduction. But also, you look at the snowball at the top of the mountain as it's rolling down, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it becomes this avalanche, going 100 miles an hour. So just that listening to that experience was a huge eye-opener to me, and a great example of the power of podcast listening and podcast networking. So kudos to you, Mike, for being the visionary to create that.
That's a good one, I tell you, because it's in their best interest to promote it, to promote themselves while they're promoting the growth of the networking event. Because networking events are either shrinking or growing. And we have a strategy of cross-group networking to bring all groups together to grow all groups and cross-pollinate them and meet everybody and really bring it together. So everybody who was at the Scoop has the chance to be focused or profiled, I should say, and then come to the next networking event, get on the next, what I kind of think of as like blitz referral networking, because, these are instant referrals of people who love Lafayette in their business. We're referring people to Kim Evans and to the Scoop and to local businesses. And it was co-hosted by the Chamber of Commerce and Scoop. And so really exciting stuff, Ron. I'm so excited. It's not perfect, and it never will be. But we don't have to wait for that. We just jump in, and by participating, and every week Ron helps me get closer and closer, constant and never-ending improvement. And with his help, and with the help of other people who can collaboratively work together in fusion, because I think competition is really, really important. I think it's really good for product improvement. But what we want is a fusion of competition and collaboration. So it's all really working together. That's what they focus on in the Great Discovery with Six Sigma. So if you want to, I will put my link to the AI Super Campus and my link to joining the Great Discovery AI Super Campus right below this video on YouTube. So, Ron, as always, I'm so grateful for you and for your help. And we want to fuse our minds and our hearts together by learning to love local networking. Ron Horry, FinFit Life, thank you for joining me, my friend.
And also, Mike, I want to repeat your invitation to people to join us on Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, because this is not the Mike and Ron show. We want to invite other people to come, to participate, to learn, and also to share their story. So
Absolutely.
There's no charge. We have a heart-centered approach. We want to help people grow, especially local businesses. So again, I want to repeat that invitation. Anybody is welcome to join us to learn and to share.
And where do they go to join?
They go to the AISupercampus.com, and then they'll be informed about how to join our Friday 8 a.m. Pacific time podcast.
And they could join nationally or globally. I had a guy drop in from India, Ron, and we actually created an entire company called AI Hire X. And it was just from him dropping in on a Zoom meeting with me meeting him and getting to know him from India. Okay. And now if you go to Hire AI, go to Hire AI X, that's a whole company we've started just from one networking event meeting. And you got to see it. It's amazing. I'm not just blowing smoke here. Let me go and show you right now. AI, I know, AIHireX.com. Here it is. Okay, let me share this with you real quick. This is cool. But this is also, results of what happens from networking events. Let me get my bearings back here and find Zoom again. Okay, there we go. So let me share AI Hire X, the company that came about just from dropping into a networking event with me. Share this. And here it is. This is AI Hire X. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? And this came about from somebody dropping in on a Friday morning networking event. This is how you can get hired and learn to interview. These are some of the folks. Look at this. Here I am. I'm one of the co-founders of this company. Along with my friend Abe Nasser. So, people think there's so much stuff out there. They don't know what's real and what's not, Ron. So it's so important to do local business networking and show and tell so people can see, check it out. Go to AI Hire X and learn about it, how you can practice, you can schedule a demo. But this all came about as a result of one thing, learning to love local networking and exporting the American dream worldwide. That's why I say we want to export this dream of the American dream globally, and we can do it thanks to the AI Super Campus and the Great Discovery. It's just amazing. But these are real results, and I love showing and telling, and promoting companies like that. We just, again, for people that even in Lafayette now, they'll know about AI Hire X.
Well, I think that's an outstanding example, Mike, of a proof of concept, right? And I think too, for local business owners, they don't have to be tech savvy. So, one of the
Oh,
great things about you, you're always on the leading edge of AI tools of all different kinds. And, I
the
live
easy ones for networkers. You don't have to be a technologist. All you have to be is a networker, and that's where my heart is in networking. So if you're a networker, I made it super simple with free accounts for networkers, not technologists.
right, right. Well, the point I was going to make is people can actually learn from the tools that you have learned and the tools that I have learned. So they
Yeah.
don't need to be a technologist. And people need to embrace AI in a positive way, which can enhance their own businesses on a real grassroots level. So, like you say, creating a company in an instant just through a conversation on Zoom is a perfect example of what other people can do. And if they already have a company, could be brick and mortar, it could be virtual. There are ways to use tools, AI tools, to really expand their presence and their message. So that's again another reason for people to join us is to learn about the tools. You're a living example. Here are the tools. Here's how I use it. And we want to share what we know for greater abundance for everybody.
And we learn from each other. Ron teaches me things, I teach him things. We invite more people in, we learn from them. This is how we all grow together, and we learn about taking it out. So it's not about bringing things in, it's about taking your message out to the world and amplifying it and sharing it. And that's why we call it the fusion of networking with media marketing, all into one thing. And that's what you can meet with the Business of Liberty for alternative independence for you, your life, and your business. And that all comes from the Great Discovery, which is the global exportation of the American dream, or local networking, whichever you prefer, or a combination of the two.
Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you, Mike.
Ron. Thank you, Ron, for joining me. It's been a great week, as always, with you. I appreciate you. Thanks, Ron.
Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.